Just queuing up for our first panel of the day. It seems like this is a popular one. What is this one that we're going into? He's excited, he's well up for it. Hello folks and welcome to today's vlog. It's our final day at Summer in the City down in London today. We've just checked out of our hotel and most exciting thing that's happened to us all weekend, we are going to be sat right at the very front of the train on the way to the event. Expect Kev's driving a train time-lapse to be incoming. Coolest train sequence ever. I think we're straight on this train and then we'll be at the event. I don't think I can drive this one, although we'll have a little look. Almost, maybe. Oh, someone got there just before me. Well, the second set of pretending to drive wasn't quite as effective, 3 seats back looking out the window, but I think I still got a good enough view to drive from there. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me.
Oh. What colour is it? What colour is it?
Red.
Thank you so much.
Will do. Good to meet you. Just queuing up for our first panel of the day. It seems like this is a popular one. What is this one that we're going into? He's excited, he's well up for it.
What?
The panel we're going into.
Oh, yes. Reviewer.
Ah, there you go. I was just saying what one is it. There you go. Thank you. Awesome. There's a Disney thing behind this. We're trying to work out what it is. So I keep seeing Disney videos appear on Twitter. So there's obviously some kind of shenanigans going on here. We just don't know what those shenanigans are. So, quick tour, because I realised I didn't do any real footage inside Summer in the City yesterday. We did a little bit on Friday. That was the Creator Day. Things were a little bit different on the Creator Day. So over there, we have the meet and greet and fairground area. That is massively busy. That's where the meet and greets happen. Old men like me don't go in there. This is the Creator Village. So along here we've got creators, some of them doing little meet and greets there, but mainly this is creators, merch being sold, and there is an awful lot along here and some very big queues. Presumably the really long queues are for the ones where people are actually there on their stands, because the creators will come and go on their stands throughout. We've got a whole bunch of cool merch stuff here as well. Nintendo behind there, loads of photo opportunity stuff over there. Mamma Mia, Comic-Con here, the Disney thing is over that way. We've got the Live the Adventure bus over here, which has had a massive crowd in front of it all weekend. The gaming stage is there, McFlurry, the board game area is behind that, and over there we have all the panel rooms. To get to the main stage where the music and stuff happens in the evening, you then have to come out of here, go down the corridor a little bit, and then there's this massive festival stage thing that we went in last night. The one other thing that is of particular interest to us, our audience, is that if you go across the way into what was the ticket hall on the first day, in the corner of that they have their little quiet room specific for people with autism, which is awesome. Massive thumbs up to Summer in the City for putting that kind of facility on. That's very, very cool. Now back to B-roll Kev and his wandering around, filling some time before the next panel by filming stuff. Minions are awesome. Well, we're into the final couple of hours of Summer in the City now. I mean, it's 4 o'clock, it's officially open till 9, but final couple of hours for us. There's 2 more panels we want to see. Just nipped out for a minute. Toilet break, you know. We're going to head back in a second, watch our final 2 panels. As I've done the last few days, there will be a review of the panels at the end of this video if you want to hear what I thought of the panels specifically. But this is another one of those advantages of the fact that we've driven down, because if we'd have come on the train, usually for Comic-Con weekends, things like that, this is the sort of time where we'd be needing to head back across London and get ready to get on the train. But because of the fact that we're driving, we can leave whenever we feel like. We'll still probably be home earlier than we would have been ordinarily, so we can hang around until we're done, which will be after the 5 o'clock panel, and then just have a leisurely drive back home and still be home at a reasonable time. I don't think I'm ever going to get on a train again, apart from the one to get back to the car. I'm never going to spend a long time on a train again. Are you going to do the Rubik's Cube for us again on the vlog?
Probably not today.
You solved that Rubik's Cube in what? A minute yesterday?
Yeah.
It was ridiculously fast, but you have found me all 3 days of Summer in the City, which officially qualifies you for a spot on the vlog.
Of course.
And that is it for Summer in the City 2018, and we're all a little bit exhausted, a little bit broken, a little bit convention poorly, I think. 3 days solid of being in an air-conditioned environment, both in there and in the hotel. We've all got runny noses, coughs are appearing, and I think we're all probably ready to go home, eat real food, sleep in a normal bed. But it has been a fantastic weekend. It's not completely over here. Obviously we still need to complete the second half of our is it better coming in the car or better coming on a train experiment that we started on Friday, because I don't actually know how much the car park is going to cost, and I don't know how easy it's going to be to drive home. So we've still got that excitement to come, and as on the previous 2 days, I will have a review of today's panels, which has included the best panel I've seen all weekend and the worst panel I've seen all weekend. So I'll have some things to say about that when we get home. Last escalator of the weekend, that was our last train of the weekend. Now we have to tap out for the last time this weekend. Well, everything's back in the car. Still maintain best parking space in the history of the world. It took us maybe a minute and a half to walk straight to the car from the hotel, just through a little bit of the shopping centre. Didn't have to go up or down a different floor at all. It's all on the one level, all easy peasy. Now I just need to find out how much the parking is going to be. This is where we have the final test to see if this was a good idea. It's not as bad as it could have been. I know £23 is going to look like a lot for parking, but to give that some context, weekend parking, long weekend parking at Peterborough train station, so from Friday morning through to Sunday evening at Peterborough train station, I think is £18. You do also have to factor in that we had to pay a £14 congestion charge to come here, plus the petrol cost future Kev might even be a real nerd and work out the actual value of it when he gets home. I think we probably still saved just a little bit of money by driving, but the extra convenience, this wins hands down. It's been so easy just driving straight in, driving straight out, easy peasy. We've now got a 2-hour drive home. If we were getting the train, we're still 30 minutes on the tube from King's Cross Station. We'd then have to wait around there, and then it would still be between 45 minutes and an hour and a half to ride home, depending on which train we got. The shorter the journey, the more expensive it is, and even then it's a 25-minute drive home from there. So unless there's a huge price difference that I've not taken into account, driving wins. Right, this settles it. We've made it to the services near Stansted Airport in no time at all, just straight out at the M11. Driving definitely wins. From now on, Kev goes to London in the car. We're here for dinner. We didn't need to stop, but we're starving.
I'd like to point out to the world that service station Chinese for £6 is mental, and I'm fully in favour of it, and it should be everywhere.
And I'm back home. In fact, it's the next morning. When I got home last night, I was just very tired and just pretty much went straight to bed. And I was watching Handmaid's Tale, which apparently is some programme girls watch, so I wasn't allowed to talk anyway, so pretty much went straight to bed. I've got up this morning, all my clothes are now in the washing machine, ready for Blackpool in a couple of days' time, but as promised, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a rundown of the panels from Sunday at Summer in the City. Andy, meanwhile, is watching Sega intro noises, because that's what he likes to do. So, the ones that I went to yesterday, we didn't do as many on the Sunday because even though some of the bigger names were there, we got there a little bit later, and it just, a lot of the topics kind of started to niche down as we got into the Sunday. For example, I didn't feel the need to go to panels such as musical.ly. I hear that's a thing the kids do, or pranks and challenges, or education, or the art of animation, travel. None of that stuff was really for Kev, so I was pretty much stuck to panel room A on the Sunday, starting off with the creator-viewer relationship, which was another chance to hear what Tessa Brooks had to say. She was on this one with JaackMaate, Saffron Barker, and a couple of people I'd never heard of, and one of which was actually really good. Ellen Rose, who apparently works for Outside Xbox, which is a thing that I'm vaguely aware of but have never actually watched. But she was actually probably the star of the panel. Her and Jack were very, very good. Some interesting thoughts on the creator-viewer relationship, and a lot of opportunities for Jack to kind of dig at Saffron Barker, who I've never watched any of her content, but she did kind of introduce her creator-viewer relationship as I love everybody, everybody loves me, etc, etc, and Jack's response, well, not response, but his version was, he doesn't pretend everyone's his best friend. He doesn't pretend that he can reply to every message or be there at the end of the phone if somebody has a problem, because realistically that's not how it works. And I much prefer Jack's idea of what a creator-viewer relationship is, because as much as I appreciate you all for watching my content, we don't know each other. We're not best pals, and I think it can be unhealthy for the creator to encourage viewers to consider the relationship as best mates who are always there for each other, because all that's going to do is set up for that creator to let that viewer down at some point, because sooner or later the viewer's going to want to cash in on that best mates relationship, and realistically the creator can't follow through on their end of the bargain because they're not going to be available 24/7. They're not going to give out their phone number. So I thought that was quite interesting to see two really quite major creators having completely polar opposite views on something that's really quite fundamental to being a YouTuber. Then watched the vlogging panel, which, you know, thought I should probably watch that one. This one was a bunch of people I've never heard of, and I don't really know. This is another one of those things. I mentioned it briefly with the family vlogging one on the Saturday. This was a vlogging panel with a bunch of people, none of which are current daily vloggers. Now, to me, I don't really care what they've got to say about vlogging because they don't do it.
And I think there were a few panels I watched over the course of the weekend where it would have been nice to have somebody more appropriate, more qualified to talk about it. And if you haven't got 4 or 5 vloggers that you can put on stage, either drop down a tier and find some, or probably more realistically, just don't run that panel, because I didn't really feel like I got anything out of it. I was sat there watching it thinking, I mean, they spent probably 20 minutes of this panel fascinated that one of the people on there had spent 2.5 years daily vlogging and they couldn't understand how anyone was able to do it. And I'm sat there thinking, well, I've been vlogging every day for 1.5 years. I'm here to learn more about vlogging. This is a vlogging panel from supposed experts, and you're all kind of acting as if it's not possible to do, which just seemed a little bit weird. But then we got to the best panel of the entire weekend, the Honesty Hour panel, with TomSka, Elle Mills, Jack Dean again, Emma Blackery, and a few other people that I'd never heard of. And this was just superb. This was very much an honesty hour that I don't want to repeat a lot of the stuff that was said on this panel, because I don't know how much of it is something that I should be repeating. I don't know if these things are recorded and put out there, but there was some significant name dropping and an opinion stating put forward on this panel. It was funny, it was informative, it actually got some real honest thoughts out of some of these creators, and I thought this was just a really excellent panel. I would have watched that one go on for hours. And then we finished things off with, and I warned you this one was coming as well, what I thought was kind of the worst panel of the whole show, which was the comedy panel. That was what I was really looking forward to, because looking at who was on it, Daz Black, Stephen Tries, they're a couple of people who I really like, but Stephen Tries brought out this other guy who works on his channel with him. I didn't really get why he was there and didn't really say very much. There was about 8 people on this panel, to the point where they didn't fit on the sofas. Nobody really got the opportunity to say very much, and 20 minutes in, I hadn't laughed. And I know it was a panel about doing comedy on YouTube, not a panel that was supposed to have me laughing. But the one before that I found quite funny, and the people who were on there were genuinely funny people, whereas I feel like the people on this panel maybe can be funny when it's tightly scripted and tightly edited and put together as a YouTube video, but I didn't feel like they were naturally funny people in the way the likes of TomSka and JaackMaate are. And that was a little bit disappointing, because Daz Black in particular I was really looking forward to seeing, and he didn't really say very much, and what he did say was really quite dull. It felt very much like it was 5 o'clock on the Sunday and these people had been there for 3 days and they were exhausted. So I've got to cut them a little bit of slack, but putting a 7 or 8 person panel on last thing on a Sunday and giving it the title of comedy, I feel like that's probably setting yourself up to fail a little bit, and maybe just shuffle that around a little bit next year and make it a 3 or 4 person panel, and try and make it people who are capable of being a little bit more energetic at that point of the show, because it was, like I say, I left halfway through it. It wasn't as good as I'd been really looking forward to it. It was the one that when the schedule first came out I was most excited about, and I think that's probably what led to the disappointment. I don't know what's going on here. Is that Wii Fit?
Yeah. Oh, it's Nintendo Dogs.
Oh, it's Nintendo Dogs, is it?
Yes.
So he's watching Nintendogs on his iPad.
Oh, DS.
Yeah, and you've got it on the DS as well. So he's watching it really close up to his eyes.
The second hand.
The second hand?
I see.
Okay.
Come on.
Are you dancing? I see you've got your very stylish Different Is Not Broken merch on today as well. Available from, I can't remember what it is, the link's down in the description. It's like teespring.com. We need a proper short URL again, like we used to have.
Come on.
But the link, if you want one of those shirts, it's down in the description. But we are going to end today's vlog here, because more than anything else I need to edit it together and get started on tomorrow's vlog. Dave, get out from under there. And if you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for more daily vlogs. And thank you very much for watching.
Yes.
See, round of applause.